Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready. What fascinating story are we exploring today?
Well, today we're venturing into the world of Hindu mythology.
Ooh, sounds intriguing. Which text are we looking at?
We're diving into chapter 21 of the Brahma Purana, specifically the tale of Parvati and Shiva.
Ah, Parvati and Shiva, a classic.
It really is. Their story is full of devotion, sacrifice, maybe even a little bit of divine trickery.
You've definitely got my attention.
We're picking up right after the story of Suryadeva, the sun god.
Right, the sages are eager to hear more.
Exactly. They want to know about Parvati and Mahadeva, or as you might know him, Shiva.
So where does this chapter begin?
It all starts with Himalvan.
Himalvan. Remind me, who is he again?
He's the king of the mountains.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he's got big ambitions.
Like what? Wants to conquer more territory?
Even bigger than that. He wants fame and a place among the celestial beings.
Wow, aiming high. So how does a mountain king climb the social ladder to reach the heavens?
While Himavan, he goes straight to the source. He seeks advice from the wise sage Kashyap.
Makes sense. Go to the expert. What does the sage advise?
Sage Kashyap tells him that the key to reaching such heights is to have a virtuous daughter.
A daughter. That's the key.
You see, in this context, lineage and progeny were super important. They were seen as a pathway to divine favor and recognition. Having a daughter wasn't just about family, it was about spiritual legacy.
That really makes you think about the societal values of that time. Fascinating.
So Himavan, driven by this advice and his ambition, embarks on some serious tapasya.
Tapasya. Isn't that like intense meditation or penance?
You got it. It's a way to purify oneself and gain spiritual power, often to please the gods.
So he's really dedicating himself to this goal. What happens? Does he catch Brahma's attention?
Oh, absolutely. Brahma, being the creator god, notices Himavan's intense efforts. He's impressed by his devotion and decides to grant his wish.
Himavan gets his wish, a virtuous daughter.
Exactly, a daughter named Parvati. But this is no ordinary child.
Oh, what's so special about her?
Brahma foretells that she will not only bring Himavan immeasurable fame, but also sanctify the gods themselves through her purity.
Wow, talk about a destiny. To be born with such a purpose.
It's like she's destined for greatness from the very beginning. But it sounds like Parvati inherited her father's determination because she also undertakes rigorous tapasya.
Really? What's her motivation? Is she also seeking fame?
That's where things get really interesting. Parvati's tapasya is so powerful that it starts affecting the entire universe. It causes a kind of cosmic imbalance.
Whoa, that's some serious spiritual energy. The universe itself is feeling the effects of her practice.
It's that intense. It gets to the point where Brahma himself has to step in.
Brahma intervenes. What does he do?
He appears before Parvati and asks, Parvati, what is the purpose of this intense practice? What are you hoping to achieve?
He's basically saying, hey, your devotion is shaking things up a bit here. What's going on?
Exactly. I can only imagine the kind of spiritual energy she must have been radiating to cause such cosmic upheaval.
So how does Parvati respond?
Parvati, being both subtle and resolute, reveals her desire. She wants to marry Shiva.
Shiva, the Supreme Lord himself. That's bold.
Talk about aiming high.
But it makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, if you're going to dedicate yourself to spiritual practice, why not aim for the ultimate union?
Right. It speaks volumes about her character and her ambition. But, a union of this magnitude, it's not going to be simple.
You're definitely right about that. Things are about to get very complicated.
Because, as you can imagine, the gods are watching all of this unfold. They see the cosmic imbalance caused by Parvati's intense tapasya, and they decide to intervene.
Oh no, here we go. What do?
They approach Parvati and say, look, your devotion is undeniable, and Shiva will be your husband. No doubt about it. You can ease up on the tapasya now.
It sounds reasonable enough. I mean, she's causing a stir in the cosmos, so what does Parvati do? Does she listen?
This is where Shiva's nature, his playful, unpredictable side, comes into play. He decides to appear before Parvati, but not in his usual divine form.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. What does he look like? Something terrifying.
Let's just say he appears in a form that's disfigured and unappealing. Not exactly what you'd expect from the Supreme Lord, right?
Wow, what a test of her devotion. To see beyond appearances like that. So how does Parvati react? Is she repulsed?
This is where we really see Parvati's inner purity and yogic insight. She's been meditating for years, her perception heightened, her awareness refined. Do you think superficial appearances would matter to someone like that?
You've got a point. It's like she can see beyond the illusion. But what does she do? Does she acknowledge him?
Unfazed by his appearance, Parvati declares her intention to marry him.
She still wants to marry him, even after seeing that. That's incredible.
It really is a testament to her unwavering commitment. She sees his true essence, not the outward form. But this sets the stage for a confrontation with her father, Himalvan. Remember, appearances and societal standing meant a lot back then.
Oh, I bet Himalvan is not going to be happy about this. This is where the drama really starts to unfold.
Okay, so last we left off, Shiva had just vanished, right after Parvati declared she would marry him at the Swayamvara.
And, of course, this left poor Parvati waiting for the ceremony to begin where she would supposedly get to choose her husband.
But then you were saying how he appears again.
Yes, but not as himself.
Oh boy, this doesn't sound good.
Instead of his divine form, Shiva takes on the appearance of a Brahmin child.
A Brahmin child.
However, it turns out that this isn't just any child. This child is actually fated to be devoured by Graha.
Graha. Remind me who that is again.
Oh yeah, Graha is a celestial being, and he's supposed to devour this child on his 6th day.
Oh, that's awful.
It is a rather dark turn in the story.
So Shiva is disguised as this child who's in mortal danger. And then what happens?
Well, it seems that this all unfolds before the Swayamvara actually happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So picture this: Parvati is waiting for the Swayamvara to begin when all of a sudden she sees this innocent Brahmin child caught in the clutches of Graha.
What a horrible thing to witness.
Especially for someone as compassionate as Parvati. She simply couldn't stand by and watch this happen.
So what does she do?
Parvati, being the embodiment of compassion, steps in and pleads with Graha to let the child go.
She tries to reason with him.
Yeah, she argues for the child's life, reminding Graha of the sanctity and importance of Brahmins.
It's interesting how this scene highlights the significance of Brahmins in society back then.
Yeah, exactly. They were seen as the highest caste. They were scholars and priests essential to maintaining spiritual and social order.
So they were highly revered.
Very much so. And for Parvati, despite being a king's daughter and destined to be the consort of Shiva, she still shows so much respect for this Brahmin child.
It shows her humility.
It really does. But her pleas unfortunately fall on deaf ears.
Graha doesn't listen.
He doesn't. Graha feels bound by destiny and refuses to release the child. He claims that it's his dharma, his cosmic duty, to carry out this act.
So it's like duty and compassion are at odds here.
Absolutely. It puts Parvati in a very difficult situation. What should she prioritize?
Right. How does she respond to his refusal?
This is where we really see Parvati's character shine and her deep understanding of dharma. Knowing that Graha is bound by his duty, she decides to offer something incredibly precious in exchange for the child's life.
What could she possibly offer that would be enough?
She offers her own accumulated tapasya.
You're kidding? She's willing to give up all that spiritual merit she earned through years of intense meditation.
That's exactly right. It's an incredible sacrifice, and it really speaks to her selflessness and her understanding of the interconnectedness of all beings.
So it's not just about personal gain for her.
Not at all. It's about recognizing the value of all life and using her spiritual energy for the benefit of others.
It's really a profound act of selflessness. So how does Graha react to this offer?
Well, he hesitates. He's overwhelmed by Parvati's offer. You see, her accumulated tapasya is so immense that it causes Graha to become radiant with spiritual energy just by being in its presence.
Wow. So he's basically feeling the power of her tapasya firsthand.
Precisely. He recognizes the magnitude of what she's willing to give up and urges her to reconsider.
He's giving her a chance to back out.
He is. He's saying, think carefully about what you're doing. This is a big deal.
So what does Parvati do? Does she take him up on his offer and keep her tapasya?
Not a chance. Parvati is unwavering in her resolve.
She's not backing down.
She insists on the exchange, arguing that the life of this Brahmin child, a symbol of knowledge and purity, is far more valuable than her own personal tapasya.
That's powerful.
This moment really highlights the importance of selfless action in Hindu philosophy.
It makes you think about your own values. What are we willing to sacrifice for others? How often do we put their needs before our own?
Exactly. These are big questions that Parvati's actions make us consider.
So what happens next? Does Graha accept her offer?
He does. Moved by her compassion and understanding of dharma, Graha releases the child and vanishes.
What a relief.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Parvati, having given away all her hard-earned tapasya, doesn't despair at all.
She's okay with just giving it all up like that.
She is. She simply resumes her tapasya as if nothing happened.
Wow, that's incredible.
It shows her unwavering commitment and faith. But now we have to talk about the child and Shiva.
Right. I feel like there's more to this story.
There is. Remember, Shiva was disguised as the Brahmin child the whole time?
Wait a minute. The child she saved was Shiva himself.
Exactly. He was testing her all along.
Why would he do that?
That's a question that has been debated for centuries. Some say he wanted to witness the depths of her compassion firsthand, to see her unwavering devotion in action.
It was the ultimate test.
In a way, it was. It really makes you think about the nature of divine tests. Are they meant to break us or to make us stronger?
To reveal our true nature.
Exactly. So what happens next? Does Shiva reveal himself to Parvati?
That's what I'm dying to know.
He does. He reveals his true form and praises Parvati for her selfless act. He tells her that even though she gave away all her tapasya, it will be returned to her 1,000-fold and will remain eternal.
That's amazing.
It's a cosmic reward for her compassion.
But it's more than just a reward. It really emphasizes that true compassion and sacrifice never go unnoticed.
You got it. And it speaks to the idea that our actions have far-reaching consequences. Parvati's selfless act not only saved the child, but also created a ripple effect that will benefit countless others.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
But what about the Swayamvara? After all of this, does she still go through with it?
That's the big question. The Brahma Purana leaves us with Parvati overjoyed and blessed by Shiva still awaiting the Swayamvara.
So we don't know for sure what happens.
Not explicitly, but I think we can safely assume that things probably work out pretty well for her in the end. The bigger question, though, is what can we learn from all of this?
That's the real takeaway, isn't it? There's so much to unpack here. The sacrifice, the compassion, the divine test. It's all so beautifully intertwined.
It really is. And I think that's what makes these ancient stories so captivating. They're not just about gods and goddesses. They reflect our own human struggles, our own journeys toward understanding things like compassion, duty, and true devotion.
It makes you wonder if Parvati can show such amazing compassion. What does that say about us humans? What are we capable of?
Such a great question. And if Shiva, the Supreme Lord himself, can be moved by these acts of devotion, what does that say about the power of human connection?
It really makes you think about the interconnectedness of everything.
These are powerful questions to reflect on.
And I think the answers might be found not just by analyzing these stories, but by looking inward and examining our own lives and how we choose to navigate the world. As we wrap up this deep dive into Parvati and Shiva, I keep finding myself drawn back to one specific detail.
Oh, what is it?
The Ashoka flower garland.
Yes, that was quite a moment.
We talked about how the Ashoka tree is associated with love and devotion and fulfilling desires.
Right, it's a powerful symbol.
But I'm wondering if the garland itself has a deeper meaning beyond just being a romantic gesture.
You're thinking about how garlands are often used in rituals and ceremonies.
Exactly. Like they can represent honor, devotion, or even the cycle of life and death.
They hold a lot of symbolic weight in many cultures.
So could the Ashoka garland be more than just Parvati choosing Shiva to Swayamvara?
I think you're onto something. Remember, the Ashoka tree is all about the fulfillment of desires. By placing that garland on Shiva, even though he's disguised, Parvati is essentially offering him everything.
Her heart, her devotion, her very being.
It's like she's saying, I see you, I choose you, no matter what form you take.
Regardless of appearances.
Exactly. It's a really powerful statement about her unwavering commitment to him.
It makes you realize how much depth and meaning these ancient myths contain, even in the smallest details.
It's like they're invitations to dig deeper, to look for the hidden layers of symbolism and wisdom.
To uncover the richness beneath the surface.
That's what makes exploring these stories so rewarding. They're not just entertaining tales. They're full of philosophical insights and reflections on what it means to be human.
And to connect with the divine.
Exactly. So as we conclude our deep dive today, I want to bring us back to those thought-provoking questions we touched on earlier.
About our own potential for compassion and selflessness.
Yes. If Parvati, a goddess destined for greatness, can demonstrate such radical compassion and sacrifice, what does that say about us? What are we truly capable of?
Can we also make such profound sacrifices? Can we look beyond appearances and act with the same unwavering devotion?
These are big questions. Questions that might not have easy answers.
But maybe that's the whole point. These stories aren't meant to give us all the answers.
They're more like guides. They offer us a glimpse into the possibilities of human experience.
They challenge us to think differently, to question our assumptions, and to look inward.
To examine our own lives and how we choose to navigate the complexities of the world.
And perhaps to strive for a deeper understanding of ourselves and the divine.
So until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking those hidden gems of wisdom that surround us.
You never know what incredible insights await.